Welcome back to Foresight Radio, where we look ahead at the ideas and the innovations shaping the future of AI. I'm Tom Kalopoulos, and today we're diving into what may go down as one of the most pivotal moments in the history of personal technology, and I'm not being at all hyperbolic. Bear with me here. Let's start with a bold premise. Forget the smartphone. What's coming next will make even the iPhone feel quaint and antiquated. And it's being crafted by the very man who helped bring that little slab of glass and steel to life, Jony Ive. He's teaming up with OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, to do something incredibly radical, not just smarter tech, but more human tech. And if you've heard me talk about AI, you've heard me say that AI ultimately will elevate our humanity. Well, here's an example of how that's going to happen. It's a personal AI that lives with you. It listens, it learns, and it quite possibly knows you better than your doctor, your partner, or maybe even better than you know yourself. And this isn't science fiction. It's happening, and it's happening now. And in 10 years, maybe 20 at the outside, we'll look back and we will laugh at how we ever lived without what I'm about to describe, just like we laugh now at paper maps and rotary phones and dial-up internet. So let's break it down. When OpenAI recently announced the acquisition of Jony Ive's design studio, Love From, and more specifically his AI hardware startup, I.O., for a cool $6.5 billion, most headlines focused on the price tag, which is understandable. But the real story here is about reimagining how we will live with technology and with AI.
I think we have the opportunity here to kind of completely reimagine what it means to use a computer.
That was Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, talking about the impact that this new device will have. What's important here is that this isn't about faster chips or better screens. It is about presence, connection, a personal AI device that doesn't just respond, but relates. Jony Ive brought elegance and emotional resonance to industrial design with the iMac, the iPod, and the iPhone. Sam Altman, on the other hand, brought us ChatGPT, arguably the most influential AI platform of our time. Together, they're not building just a product. They're building a paradigm shift. And I know we use that term liberally all too often, but if it ever applied, this is where it does. Again, here's Sam Altman talking about his early experience with this new device.
Jony recently gave me one of the prototypes of the device for the first time to take home, and I've been able to live with it, and I think it is the coolest piece of technology that the world will have ever seen.
This is a device so integrated, so intuitive, so human, that in just a few years we'll be asking, how do we ever live without it? So let's unpack what's going on. Until now, AI has mostly lived in the cloud. It's been disembodied, invisible, accessible only through keyboards and screens. We talk to it, we type at it, we tap around it. It's functional, but it is distant. What Ive and Altman are doing is giving AI a body. Let's be bolder here. They're giving it a soul, not in the humanoid robot sense, but in the form of the ultimate companion, a wearable or carryable device that is always with you. It observes, it listens, and it understands, and yes, it even feels. This isn't the next iPhone. This is the next I, capital I, the next extension of your identity. So think about how the iPhone didn't just change the way we use phones, it changed our fundamental behavior, right? We sleep with these devices now at night. We use them to navigate, to communicate, to enhance our productivity. We use them for entertainment. It rewired our expectations for how we engage with the world and with each other. This sleep that I'm describing now is even bigger than that. This time, the AI won't just be an extension of your mind, your outboard brain. It will be a mirror for it, one that sees patterns that you don't, one that nudges you when you're off balance, one that remembers the stuff you forgot, not just factually, but emotionally. It's a digital twin, not cold clinical data, but something empathetic, designed to care, designed to support. This is personal AI in its most incredibly adept manifestation, and it's coming fast. So, let's take this into one of the most vulnerable and high-impact areas of our lives where I think it's going to have an incredible impact, and that's healthcare. If you've ever dealt with a chronic condition, managed a loved one's care, or simply tried to explain your symptoms during a rushed doctor's visit, you know the healthcare system is broken. We've talked about this in prior podcasts. Fragmented records, 10-minute appointments, siloed specialists, a complete lack of continuity of care. This kind of AI, one that's with you all the time, is a complete game changer for healthcare. It could track your vitals continuously, recognize patterns in your voice that signal depression before you even notice it, hear the subtle rasp of a developing respiratory infection. It might detect changes in your gait and point to a neurological issue. And because it's with you all the time, 24/7, it'll have more insight than any chart, any electronic medical record, or any clinician ever could. Your doctor's usually, twice a year, maybe 4 times a year? Your AI sees you 24/7. Scary? Yeah, sure. But there's always the trade-off with technology, right? It's what we give up for what we get back. So imagine what we get back. We get back true continuity of care, personalized diagnostics, proactive interventions, a health profile that includes the context of your life, not just clinical snapshots. This isn't the future. Tim Cook at Apple has already said that healthcare data is one of the most opportune areas of growth for Apple long term. What you're seeing here in this partnership between Jony Ive and Sam Altman takes that to the next level. So imagine you walk into a clinic and your AI presents a complete report, not just blood pressure elevated, but blood pressure has been rising consistently for 10 days, correlating with a reduced sleep and increased caffeine consumption, which began after a change in your work routine. Basically telling the doctor everything that he or she needs to know to help diagnose your condition. This isn't just smart. This could fundamentally be life-saving. We've seen the impact that smartwatches have in being able to track basic cardiac rhythms. Imagine the impact that something like what we're describing here could have. So take a deep breath here, because this is where the story gets really powerful. Think for a moment, what does Jony Ive bring to this, and why does he matter? Why not just strap GPT-5 to a piece of plastic and call it a day? Because this kind of intimacy, what I just described, that kind of intimacy with technology only works if it feels right. Jony Ive gets this. He doesn't design products. He designs things that we feel. He designs things that have emotional connection. His work has always had an emotional core to it. And from the satisfying click of the iPod wheel, if you remember that, to the gentle curves of the iPhone, he's always known how to make technology feel less like a tool and more like a companion. And that's the missing link with AI today. Most of our interactions with AI feel either transactional or performative. But when it's designed to be with you all the time, it has to be emotionally intelligent. It has to be invisible and yet intimate. And that's what Ive brings. And that's why this matters. So let's talk about the inevitability. We don't ask whether we want a smartphone anymore. We just have one. It's our camera, our navigator, our notebook, our gateway to the world and how we connect with each other across the globe. This AI device that Ive and Altman are working on, this companion, will be that, as I said, times 10. It won't just do things. It will know you. And once we get used to that, to not having to remember every task or re-explain ourselves to every service or forget the important details of our own lives, there is no going back. This thing will hold our memories, our preferences, our daily rhythms, and it will do so with discretion, design, and if we're careful, with dignity. It's a tall order, but it's the direction that we're heading. You want to go wider on this? If this AI can be your healthcare historian, what else could it be? Maybe your child's tutor that adapts to the curriculum in real time to their attention span and their learning style. Maybe it's your executive assistant who doesn't just manage your calendar, but manages your stress, your aging parent's memory, keeping track of meds, stories, visitors, appointments, your memory as you get older, your home's brain optimizing energy use and security based not on settings, but on your behavior. This is something we talked about in the prior podcast. It is ambient intelligence, AI that fades into the background, not because it's weak, but because it has understood you so well that it no longer needs to be instructed. AI that listens, truly listens, and acts within context. And yes, it will disrupt every industry that it touches. So where does all this lead? It certainly leads to a future where AI isn't just an app or a voice assistant, but a presence, a co-pilot for your life is the best way I could describe it. And just like we can't imagine life today without a smartphone, our future selves will marvel at how we got through our days without this kind of support. This isn't about replacing people. It's about reclaiming our cognitive and emotional bandwidth and using it to elevate our humanity. It's about letting go of the noise in our lives so we can focus on what matters, being present, being purposeful, and being human. And that's what this device, this next revolution from Ive and Altman, could deliver. The AI that you'll never leave behind, because once you've lived with it, you won't want to live without it. That's it for this episode of Foresight Radio. If this sparked your imagination or unsettled your comfort zone, good. That's what the future is supposed to do. Be sure to follow, subscribe, and share this with someone who still thinks AI is just about search engines and chatbots. Until next time, I'm Tom Kalopoulos. Stay human, and as always, stay curious.